Hello and welcome to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi dated 2nd March 2026. We have taken up important news from The Hindu and Indian Express newspaper and have segregated our discussion into two parts, that is analysis and prelims pointer. In analysis section, the first news is related to industrial disaster because of the recent explosion in an ammunition factory in Nagpur, Maharashtra, which has rendered 18 people dead and many injured. This has brought in the question of industrial safety landscape in India. The second analysis is inspired from a news article which talks about the development of borderlands. It argues that it is not just infrastructure development but also the integration at the psychological level as well as individual level. The topic for prelims discussion are listed here. They will cover relevant and important information from the perspective of UPSC prelims examination. So let us begin our discussion. So let us begin the first discussion, which is based on this unfortunate accident in the Nagpur district of Maharashtra, where an ammunition factory, manufacturing factory, there is an explosion which has till time a confirmed death of 18 people and have injured around 20 people. Now, this is not a rare incidence, but on Saturday itself, there was an accident, similar accident in Andhra Pradesh, where a fire and explosion in firecracker factory has also caused death of around 20 people. Now, these back-to-back incidences have brought in the attention towards the industrial safety in India. So in this discussion, we will be covering the causes, we will be covering the legal structure that India is having to avoid such incidences. We will be also discussing the impact of such events and a way forward. This would be followed by a practice question so that you can assess your understanding. This particular news is important from GS paper 3, that is disaster management. However, government intervention and other issues related to governance can also be addressed through this news article. So let us begin the discussion. And first thing, that what is industrial disaster? What is the status in India? And why it is a matter of concern. So here you can see various news in Telangana, Sigachi blast in 2025, then a toxic gas leak at Vishakhapatnam. Now, most of the accident, what we think that these recent incidences on Saturday and Sunday in a firecracker factory and in ammunition manufacturing factory, we think that they are limited to private sector, but this is not true. Many government sector PSUs have also faced such scenarios and which has caused huge number of lives. Like in the year 2017, a boiler blast in NTPC power plant in Uchahar, Uttar Pradesh, it had caused around 32 deaths. Similarly, in 2009 also, 20 people were dead in a mishap in the Balco plant in Chhattisgarh, Korba, where a chimney collapsed and the laborers who were taking refuge under it, they died immediately. Later on, this count raised to 40 and 42 also. Now, these are some news article, but as I told you, back to back on Saturday, we had this firecracker factory incidents. On Sunday, we had this explosion in the chemical factory, which was involved in the manufacturing of ammunition. What defines this industrial disaster? So, NDMA Act, that is National Disaster Management Act 2005, clearly defines it as a man-made, sudden, unexpected catastrophe arising from chemical, mechanical or civil processes, resulting in substantial loss of life, property, environmental damage beyond the coping capacity of the affected community. This is what is the official definition of the industrial disaster. But if you will go for the data regarding the disasters that are occurring in India, you will be surprised to understand the variation. So, NDMA says that if you will look into the chemical disasters only, the disaster related to manufacturing or handling of chemicals, there are 130 significant accidents causing 250 plus death and 550 plus injuries. in 10 years. But if you will go by the Center for Science and Environment Study which was conducted in the year 2022, it highlighted a starking reality where it said that over 130 major chemical accidents in just 30 months, that is after 2020 post COVID era till 2022, there were 130 major chemical accidents which caused around 218 fatalities. Now this is the difference in data. NDMA says 10 year, 130 accidents, chemical disaster. Center for Science and Environment says in just 30 months, 130 accident, causing death of around 200 plus people, injuring around 300. Now, if you will look into the Labor Ministry data, which was fetched upon by various RTI applications, they peg this number even higher. They say if you will consider all kind of industrial accident or workspace related accident, there are more than 6,500 people who were killed in last 5 years, that is 2020 to 2025. So we are living in a 21st century with such a level of economic development, and at an average of 3 persons per day, we are losing the industrial labor towards various kind of industrial mishap. So why this is happening? Are there statutory provisions are there or not? Legal provisions are there or not? As is the case with most of the issues, here also we have several provisions. Problem is not provision, but implementation of provision. So if you will look into it, the Disaster Management Act, one of the umbrella act which deals with occupational safety, health standard and emergency preparedness, the Factories Act is also there. Apart from that, Environmental Protection Act, Public Liability Insurance Act, where you have to, the company where the disaster has happened or the accident has occurred, they are liable to pay compensation, public liability. Then chemical accident rules, they formulate off-site and on-site emergency plans. Keep these things in mind because these statutes will come in the subsequent discussion also. So emergency plans, off-site and on-site. So on-site by the industry itself, off-site by the district administration or whatever or whosoever is the concerning authority. Then Manufacturing, Storage and Import of Hazardous Chemical, Explosive Act, Petroleum Act, Atomic Energy Act, they all have led their guidelines and procedures and SOPs to deal with such industrial disaster. Then what is the issue? What is the problem? The first problem is the regulatory and institutional gaps. Now the first issue is that you have made regulations, SOPs, and in subsequent slide you will also see in today's newspaper itself, a news has highlighted that the Saturday incidents of the fire or explosion in the firecracker factory is caused mainly due to SOPs were neglected. We will take that. Right now, just understand this, that laws are there, but weak enforcement is there. Capacity is not there. In Parliament itself, Labour Ministry has given this data that at an average, one inspector is looking after thousands of industries. The inspection, the oversight, this shortage weakens the oversight altogether. Plus, there are overlapping jurisdiction. So, Central Pollution Control Board is there, State Pollution Control Board is there, then there are district administration, then Labor Ministry is there, okay, then there are bodies which are looking after the safety for the petroleum and explosive safety, that is PESO, Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization. There are multiple organizations having their own mandate, and now this create two kind of problem. First, the overburdened industries, complying to different norms, different officials, different paperwork. Plus, this overburdening, what it causes loopholes. So once you are overburdened with these many rules and regulation and your governance structure is fragmented, multiple agencies are looking after a single issue, what happens? These loopholes are being exploited both by the manufacturer or the owner of the industry as well as the officials. So simply give bribe and keep on the work. Now, due to these loopholes, what happens? They start neglecting the safety because no oversight is there, officials are burdened, shortage is there, multiple organizations are there, confusion is there. Now this will create a vacuum, and here in this vacuum corporate organization will prioritize their profitability, so they will focus on cost minimization over compliance. So they have to put in efforts and resources to ensure the safety of worker. But if they know there is no oversight, there is little for them, a little you can say oversight on them to invest into safety. Rather, they will try to minimize that cost and they will in turn try to maximize their profit. Then comes the urbanization problem, another agency coming into the urban bodies, local urban bodies. Now what is happening, most of the industries, their prior impact assessment is not being done properly. So anywhere in the industrial, even if you will go to your surroundings, industrial areas are not far away from the urban clusters. Even if they are you can say a little distance away from the urban cluster, within 10 years the urban growth will engulf that area. Okay, so this is what happened in latest LG gas leakage which happened recently. This plant was planned, when it was planned, it was away from the urban population, but now it is in between. A very prominent case was the Bhopal gas tragedy. This plant was located at the heart of the city. That is why the death toll was so high. So poor urban planning is another reason. So either you are not planning it away from the urban area, and even if you are planning, soon the urban sprawl or the urban growth will engulf it. Then comes informalization of workforce. Now what happens, many a times contractual labors are involved in these repair, construction or maintenance work. Now once the contract is awarded, this becomes duty of contractor. Manufacturer kind of keep themselves away from this kind of responsibility. And in this competition, in this scenario, they have little you can say incentive, the contractors have little incentive to invest into the protection of the workers and laborers. Plus these informal workers are themselves not aware about their safety concern, they are not aware about the SOPs, they are not aware about the remedial measures. So even in the case of disaster, they are not aware about how to respond, how to take refuge, how to run away from the situation. And these things combined, they suddenly increase the number of casualties. Then the aging infrastructure, again the loophole in the oversight. And this becomes very dangerous, especially in the case of industries which are related to chemical, explosives, crackers, etc. So if you are using aging infrastructure, if you are using obsolete technologies, the disaster is just in waiting. It is just a matter of time when it will occur. It is bound to happen. And this thing is basically due to lack of oversight. Nobody is there to check where your technology is up to date or not. They are not going to check the parameters, mainly the temperature or the pressure, the maintenance of machineries, the emission. Nothing is there, and that is why many industries end up culminating into, or the many manufacturing process, they end up culminating into a industrial disaster. Then There is a weak risk mapping and emergency preparedness. This is also a problem. Now, Chemical Accident Rules 1996, as I told you, they have mandated off-site and on-site plan. So at first, plan is not there. In most of the cases, plan itself is not there. If plan is there, it is just a paper tiger. Nobody is following that. Even district administration is not following those plans. So how many times have you seen the emergency drill in your district? So what was happening with laborers, that they were not aware about the response, they were not aware about the actions, they were not aware about the repercussion. Same happens with the general population. So suddenly an explosion or suddenly an accident happens, the population rushes towards the site to become a witness of it. If you have made the mock drills a regular affair, they know that they have to run away, not run towards. And that is where disaster kind of engulfs more and more lives. Now, as I told you, the recently Saturday firecracker accident happened. Now, this news article in the same, the Hindu newspaper, page number 5, it highlighted that this Saturday incident, which happened in Andhra Pradesh, was dually because of SOPs were not followed, and they have categorically said that it was non-alliance by both enforcement agencies and manufacturer. So there have been SOPs, as we talked about fragmented governance. So SOP, because in October 2024 also, 2025 also, there was a very big incidence in Andhra Pradesh itself. So they created a 2-member inquiry committee which let down certain SOPs. So from October 2025 till February 2026, nothing has been done, nothing has improved. And what the committee suggested, exactly what we discussed, it suggested a unified digital portal where licensing, monitoring and compliance tracking should be done in a unified manner, first thing. Second, they said the joint inspection by Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization, that is PESO, fire services, labor and district administration made mandatory. So that is what we were discussing, that there is a problem of this fragmentation, various departments. And this committee categorically said that joint inspection should be done. It should not be fragmented. A unified portal should be created. It should not be fragmented. Plus, it said that operation license risk based categorization and fireworks risk index were recommended. These indexing should be done, that what is the risk category, in which category these industries are falling. This was not also done. Plus, the district fireworks safety committee chaired by the collector is tasked with quarterly inspection, maintaining a district risk register and suspending license for persistent violation. These were the suggestions given in last year October, which were duly not followed. And that is why on Saturday, we again witnessed the similar incidents with similar amount of death and injuries, followed by the Sunday incidents in Nagpur, Maharashtra, where again explosion happened in an ammunition factory. Now, what is the impact? So impact is multifaceted. So it could be human, it could be environmental, it could be economic disruption and social and governance impact also. So human cost, directly immediate fatalities, long-term mobilities, like in case of the Bhopal gas tragedy, even the neurological diseases, morbidities are still prevalent in the city of Bhopal, or the population which was immediately affected. Plus the congenital abnormalities, then groundwater contamination. These are long-term impacts of the which are directly borne by the human. Then the environment, the soil and aquifer contamination, toxic waste accumulation, river pollution, as was the case in the Plachimada forest, where Coca-Cola company got in. That was the protest against the mining in Odisha, in Niamgiri Hills. Then economic disruption, basically the moment these accidents happen, the production shutdowns in entire region, because suddenly the scrutiny will increase, the raids will increase, so the production will shut down. This will disturb the confidence of the investor who is investing in a business for profit making. But just because of this collusion between the operator and officials, they are losing confidence in putting money into the new business. Then supply chain disruption, definitely when production get disrupts, the supply chain disruption would be there. And then there are compensation and litigation costs also. Moreover, there is a public distrust in regulatory institution, and protest and social activism, they affect the future projects also. So what should be done? We should be strengthening the safety management. Okay, why? How? We need to put in the third party safety audits. Plus, we need to go for the real time monitoring. We should use digital platform, the centralized, or you can say unified digital platform. We should take help of artificial intelligence for predictive maintenance system, where AI data can predict any mishappening which is incoming, or which is most likely to happen in the near future, so that preemptive steps can be taken. Then professional in these inspectors, the number should be increased so that the ratio improves. The digital inspection platform should be there, so you can remove the arm twisting by the inspectors. So online digital platform, real time monitoring, everything is getting feeded into the system itself, so no loopholes for manipulation. Then strict zoning, mandatory buffer zones around hazardous industries, and no residential expansion within notified hazard radius, like we do with the protected areas in wildlife. We should be doing this with the industrial area also. Not practically possible everywhere, but yes, as far as possible, we should try this. Then you need to create a worker-centric safety model where periodic safety certification should be given. Whistleblowers who are raising alarm against flouting of norms should be protected. Then the safety metrics, that how many accidents happened, what are the measure taken, how many equipments are outdated, removed, upgraded, modification. Every security metrics should become part of economic, social and governance disclosure. Like you companies, they deliver their balance sheet, their CSR responsibility, they should deliver details about the safety apparatus also, safety metrics also. Plus, related to the act or the regulation, we should be integrating the chemical hazard scenarios in district disaster management authority, so that they are the first responder, they can immediately respond to a situation. Then we should be strengthening the chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear units in NDRF, and we should be periodically conducting the community level evacuation drills, so that public should be, or masses should be aware about the response to a situation. There is a public liability rule where you need to provide the compensation, but in most of the cases compensations are delayed, are marred with litigations. It takes many years, 10 or 20 years it takes to give the compensation. It should be strictly adhered to. So mandatory insurance cover should be improved. Plus, the compensation tribunal should fast track the compensation. Based on this discussion, this is your practice question, that industrial disaster in India are not merely accidental events, but symptoms of deeper structural and regulatory deficiency. Discuss. This is a 250-word question, 15 marker. Try to attempt it. The next discussion is inspired from this news article, which reads as, "Give Borderlands their rightful place in national story." Now we are celebrating the silver jubilee of, or the 25th year anniversary of the creation of Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region. In regard with that, the author has opined that integration of these border areas, including northeastern India, Himalayan areas, or the coastal areas like or the island territories like Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep, we need to move beyond the infrastructural development, because infrastructural development would not bring the holistic development and holistic integration. For that, we need to cultivate a deeper understanding of the people of Northeast and other border areas. So in this discussion, we will be focusing upon why it is important to have a developed, prosperous and strong border area. Plus, we will be looking into the challenges. We will also be taking up the challenges highlighted by the article itself. And then we will be looking into the way forward, that what should be done. Important from GS paper 2 perspective, that is function and responsibilities of the union, as well as the government policies and intervention for development of various sectors. Further, important from the perspective of GS paper 3 also, security challenges and their management in border areas. The discussion will be followed by a mains practice question. So let us begin the discussion. Now, as we know that India is sharing land border with 7 countries, namely Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar. Additionally, we are also sharing maritime border with Sri Lanka, Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar, which shares the border with Indonesia and Thailand, while Lakshadweep share the border with Maldives. So all in all, around 11 countries we are sharing the land and maritime border. Now, as a prosperous country, as a strong country, what would you like to have? Not even country. As an individual, what would you like to have if you want to create a hedge around yourself? Because this is geographical feature. You can't do anything. These are the border areas. Naturally, these area becomes the first line of defense. These area become first line of defense. If you have governance gap here, if you have problems in these areas provide a very good fertile ground for infiltration, for smuggling, for all kind of illicit activities, for the uprisings, perfect ground for the discontent and the methods of reflecting upon their discontent. So it is very important from the perspective of a strategic and national security that you should have your border areas developed, strengthened and prosperous, because only then these natural first line of defense will act as a real first line of defense. Then you cannot manipulate them for getting into lure of money, going for the infiltration, going for the, you can say, radicalization, smuggling, illicit trafficking. No, because these are the prosperous areas. Then economic and geo-economic perspective. Since these are the bordering countries, they are natural gateways to the extended neighborhood. They have huge potential to increase or to have a strong land route based trade and transport among the bordering countries, as has been done in ancient times. We have learned that Chinese traveler used to come, people used to go to Myanmar, Thailand, Afghanistan, Central Asia. Entire this silk route pass through these areas, and you should have these areas very well developed and strengthened so that you can untap and unlock the economic capital. Moving further, it is not just about economy and strategy. If you will see these border areas, namely Himalayas, namely Northeast, namely Thar Desert, namely the coastal region, or namely the island, what are they? They are unique geographical unit. They are unique geographical unit with unique weather, unique biota, unique biodiversity, unique people, unique culture, unique language, unique way of life, which adds to the plurality concept of India. They become the basis of the soft power of India. And one should have these things strengthened, not disturb them, but strengthen them so that they can add their variability, the diversity they can bring in to make everyone further enriched. Then comes the psychological and emotional integration. The main basis of the topic is this only, because infrastructure money cannot only can alone cannot bring the prosperity. It is not just that economic potential is there, uh, historical knowledge is there, or indigenous knowledge is there, biodiversity is there. Mainly the developmental agenda has been focused towards the hinterland. These areas have remained at the periphery of the developmental talks. But these development, when we are talking about development, we are talking about overall growth and development, inclusive development. Their integration should not merely be material, it should be psychological. So the incidences like racial slur, the beating of people from the bordering areas or the Himalayan areas, northeastern area is not the correct way. This integration should be psychological, because then only you will have a unified, harmonious and potential, you can say, the social capital in the country. And that is why it is very important to have an inclusive development in the border areas. And why we are not having them? What are the issues? First issue is the historical neglect. They have remained peripheral because the mainland centric policy has been pursued for decades, and you can visibly see, there is no need to give any argument or data for that. The level of connectivity, the level of education apparatus, the level of healthcare apparatus that these areas have, you can just compare it with the mainland area, and you can understand that the developmental model has been mainland centric for decades. Now it is changing very rapid pace. It should have been done earlier, but now we are moving in a right direction, but still so much has to be done. Then the focus of the governments have remained more towards the security of the border area. And once you are focusing on security, you are bringing in forces, you are bringing in army, you are bringing in stringent laws like AFSPA. The moment you will bring in the, you can say, the friction erupts. People in those areas will look upon you as will look upon you with suspicion. There would be a distrust between the government and the people, and this is this dilemma, that we should be focusing on security or development. This constant battle in these bordering areas have always created a kind of mistrust between the government and the people. Then identity and alienation. So, as the article says, that it cannot be achieved solely through law and order, and article has highlighted several issues like that. Main focus has been infrastructure alone, and that too military infrastructure, security forces infrastructure, not people centric infrastructure. So national integration cannot be achieved. So need is for psychological and cultural inclusion. Second, there is a knowledge deficit about border regions. So the standard textbook, they have a poor representation. No dedicated chapter, no dedicated curriculum, nobody is reading about the heroes of these areas. So limited academic research has also been done. So there are many institutions where they are providing courses like African studies, Latin American studies, but nothing is being provided if you will look for the border areas studies in India itself. Then field exposure is very limited to the civil servants. Then most of the civil servants are working in urban centric governance mindset, neglecting these border areas, these rugged terrains. Then border heroes, as I was discussing, border heroes are underrepresented in national narrative, again alienating them, a sense of alienation. Moving further, there are natural reasons like geographical and logistical constraint, because they have mountainous terrain, fragile ecosystem, disaster vulnerabilities, and high cost of infrastructure delivery is there. Further, urban expansion or anything demographic change, because people in these area have been raising concern about illegal migration or the control by the money lenders or the powerful industries, and they always resist because they see as an intrusion towards their long held culture. This balance has not been created till now. So everything is bringing cultural anxiety, political friction, and ethnic tensions. So these are the broader reasons which are acting as a hurdle for their inclusion, or you can say the integration into mainstream national narrative. What government is doing? Government is now proactive. It has raised the budget in budgetary allocation. If you will see the northeastern region, Himalayan region, budgetary allocation has been raised by more than 150% in last 5-7 years, in last 10 years. Plus it dedicated ministries and northeastern councils have been created. Plus border area development program and vibrant village program are being taken up. Connectivity is another area where there is a huge push. Along with that, tourism is being promoted, culture is being promoted. Then these areas, especially the northeastern areas, are central to the Act East policy. So government is taking all the necessary step toward mitigating the errors that have been done since independence. Moving further, what is the way forward? What we can do? First thing, we should be shifting from developmental model to integration model. How? Infrastructure must be complemented by cultural inclusion. These areas, the content, the history, the facts, data, information should be included in the curriculum. Academic institutionalization of the border area studies should be there. There should be courses, there should be chapters, there should be department, so that students who want to study, they at least have some material to start with. Further, this will again create a zeal among other students to do the same. Then educational reform like NCERT books should include the chapters, lessons in different language about these bordering areas. Then they should also be including the heroes from these bordering areas which are till date neglected. Then interstate author suggests a sister program, sister institute program, where one school from main hinterland should be collaborating with the school in bordering areas, and they should include the student exchange and faculty exchange, so that integration could be achieved. Then there is suggestion for your field also, UPSC. According to author, border studies should be made a mandatory subject in UPSC examination. Further, he also suggests that there should be a mandatory 2-year field exposure for civil servants in border region. because it will reduce the mainland bias. Plus, autonomous district council should be empowered further. You should strengthen local self-government, encourage community-driven planning and execution. Most importantly, the security approach should be balanced. It should combine counterinsurgency with trust building. It should promote economic opportunity alongside security presence, because a strengthened economy will give stable and strengthened youth, and that is what is important. You cannot go overboard with security apparatus neglecting the integration. You can never achieve the desired result. Then border huts, tourism circuits, agro-processing clusters and blue economy in the island territories. You should integrate it. You should integrate the border economies into the developmental plans. Based on this, the question is, true national integration goes beyond infrastructure development. Discuss in the context of India's border regions. A 15 marker 250 word question. Please try to attempt it. The first discussion in the prelims pointer section is based on PM address on the Guru Teg Bahadur's Shahidi Divas. PM was delivering a video message on the 350th Martyrdom Samagam of Shri Guru Teg Bahadur Sahib Ji in Kharghar, Mumbai. Now, important from the perspective of history and personality in news, here are some prelim pointer related to Guru Teg Bahadur Ji. So, he was 9th Guru of the Sikh religion, and he was the youngest son of the 6th Sikh Guru, Guru Har Gobind Ji. In 1964, he succeeded Guru Har Krishan as the 9th Sikh Guru. His son was Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who became 10th Sikh Guru. He was accorded as the founder, or you can say a person who was given credit for the development of town Chak Nanki. In present day, we know it as Shri Anandpur Sahib in Roopnagar district of Punjab. He also contributed more than 100 poetic hymns to the Granth Sahib, covering varying fields, varying themes, varying ideas, but central to it was the universal brotherhood and religious freedom apart from the courage and sacrifice. He resisted forced conversion of Kashmiri Pandits and non-Muslim to Islam. And that is why he was accorded the title of Hind the Chadar. Then he fought against superstition, caste-based discrimination and untouchability also. For his refusal to get converted to Islam, he was publicly beheaded in 1975 in Delhi at a place known as Sees Ganj Sahib Gurdwara in Chandni Chowk area. He was beheaded on the orders of the then Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. His cremation was held at Rakabganj Sahib Gurdwara in Delhi itself. The second news article related to prelim pointer is based on this news, where Madhya Pradesh CM has released gharials and turtles. Both are critically endangered in the Kuno River of the Kuno National Park. Important from the prelims perspective, that is species in news, and we will be covering two species, that is gharial and the three-striped roofed turtle. Now, gharial. Why the name gharial? Inspired from the word ghada. Ghada means the pot which is used to keep water. And if you will see this bulbous formation on the snout of this crocodile, this looks like inverted pot of water. That is why ghada becomes gharial. So that is why the name. Critically endangered. It is a freshwater crocodile. Scientific name is Gharials gangeticus, and mostly found in rivers of Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal and Pakistan. Major population occurs in three tributaries of Ganga river, Chambal and Girva river in India and Rapti Narayani river in Nepal. It is one of the largest crocodile species, 16 to 20 feet and for males and 11 to 15 feet for females. If you will read about it, it is one of the most, if we can use the term, most aquatic among all the crocodile species. What does that mean? It barely leaves the vicinity of water. Only when egg laying or sun basking, even then it will be nearby the water itself. So the time it spends in water is more than the mugger or the saltwater crocodile and any other crocodile species. And the unique part is, as I have told you, the thin snout, and it is most elongated among all the crocodilians in the world. Moving further, the second animal that was released was three-striped roofed turtle, again critically endangered, endemic to South Asia, mainly found in India, Bangladesh and Nepal. Now in India also, Assam, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. It is primarily found in river systems of Ganges, Brahmaputra and Mahanadi. Also reported, not in a large number, but reported in the Sindh river, both India and Pakistan. Also, wetlands of Assam, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, they have been reported. They are mainly herbivorous, feeding on aquatic vegetation, but their diet also include insect, small fishes and mussel. And if you will go by the segregation, the male tortoise is male turtle is more of a carnivore than a female turtle, but mainly they are herbivorous, but there are instances where they have been found feeding upon small fish, insect and mussel also. The next news article is based on the statement of Chief Justice of India, who said that the bar and bench have equal responsibility to instill confidence among the people that they will get security and justice in the court. Important from the perspective of judiciary and GS paper 2. And what did he say? He said that the bar and bench are not rivals, because often we see judge and advocates, they get into heated exchange or debate during the courtroom. But CJI said that we are not rival. We are two arms of the same institution, that is criminal justice system and justice delivery. And he said that a strong bar association provides good arguments which motivate the judges to think more deeply, analyze carefully and write clear judgment. Its support will enhance the performance of judges. This will increase the faith of public in the judiciary. So from your perspective, already UPSC has asked a PYQ upon the Bar Council of India. We have covered that information. It is an statutory body created under the Advocates Act of 1961. Now this Advocates Act of 1961 itself was promulgated and passed on the recommendation of All India Bar Committee, which was created in 1951 and gave its report in 1953. So based on this recommendation, Advocate Acts was duly passed in the Parliament, and under this the Bar Council of India was constituted. The main objective is to safeguard the rights, interests, privileges of advocate throughout India. Its composition includes elected member, which are elected from each state for the term of 5 years. So every state has their own bar council, where number varies with respect to number of enrolled advocates. So each state will have a bar council where members number will vary from 15 till 25 and even more based on their election. Out of those members in a state, Out of those member in a state, one member is elected to the, one member is sent to the Bar Council of India for the term of 5 years. There are ex officio member also. So Attorney General and Solicitor General of India are ex officio member of the Bar Council of India. In case of states, Advocate General is the ex officio member of the Bar Council of the state. Apart from this, the member and the ex officio member, chairman and vice chairman are elected. So let's say at present 18 members are there in Bar Council of India. So among these 18 members, one person will be elected as a chairman and one person will be elected as a vice chairman for a term of 2 years, which could be extended with subsequent elections. So there is no upper limit as of now, but the term is 2 years after every election. Now, responsibility, it is, if you will read Advocates Act 1961, you will find there are 12 major responsibilities. First, to set the standard of professional conduct and etiquette for advocate. Second, procedure to be followed by its disciplinary committee, that is disciplinary committee of the Bar Council of India as well as disciplinary committee of each state. To safeguard the right, privilege and interest of advocate, to promote and support law reform, deal and with and dispose any matter which is referred to it by State Bar Council. Then promote legal education. This was the very statement upon which the PYQ in 2022 was based. To promote legal education and lay down standards of legal education. Most students thought that Bar Council is not interested with any such duty, but it lays down the standard of legal education in India. It also recognizes university. It conducts seminars and talks on legal topics. It organizes legal aid to the poor also. It also recognizes the foreign qualification in law obtained outside India for the purpose of admission as an advocate in India. So if you are doing your law degree from abroad, coming to India, what would be the terms and conditions? The Bar Council of India will decide. It is interested to manage and invest the funds of Bar Council and to provide for the election of its member who shall run the Bar Council. So these are some 12 functions, major functions of the Bar Council of India. Now the entire Middle East is consistently in news since last 2-3 days, and the dynamics of IR have been covered in the previous editions of the Analyst. But here the recent development that Iranian armed forces have attacked some oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman. And unfortunately this ship which was attacked was carrying crew from India. So 20 people were on board, out of which 15 were Indians and 5 were Iranians. And this was a Palau flagged oil tanker. It was not an Indian oil tanker. It was a Palau flagged tanker which was attacked. Everyone was rescued safely. From your perspective, this geographical region is important, not this particular tanker or the attack is important. So we'll cover that. Now, first thing, we should be looking into the Iran and surrounding water bodies. So here you can see the Iran, if you will see the southern boundaries, the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman connected by Strait of Hormuz, an important choke point. Around 20% of world oil is traded through this, because it is not just Iran but Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, all large producers are here, plus the Saudi Arabia itself, though Saudi has the access to Red Sea also, but for other countries it is the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman through Strait of Hormuz, which is important, and that is why the oil prices are going up. In north it is touched upon by the Caspian Sea. Apart from that, another important water body is Lake Urmia, which is the largest lake in the Middle East, and sixth largest lake in the world, and it is a saltwater lake. And apart from, if you will see just adjacent to it, famous lake Van of Turkey is also there. But Lake Urmia has a very distinct feature because of the algal activity. Sometime it turns into orange to red color. A very beautiful landscape is created. There are sandbars also, which also enhances its beauty. But recently it is in news because of the depletion and fluctuation in the water level and the pollution. Apart from that, neighboring countries of Iran includes Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, small portion of Armenia. Here also it touches upon, this is also part of Azerbaijan itself. Then Turkey, then Iraq. Kuwait does not share land border with Iran, but maritime border is there, because if you can see, here is a tiny strip of Iraq through which Iraq gets access to Persian Gulf. So Kuwait is away from Iran, like it doesn't share the land border with Iran as such. So here we have seen the water bodies, major water bodies, and the neighboring countries. Further, some geographical features. So if you will look from the northwest to southeast direction, you will find the Zagros mountain ranges. And if you will see the border with Caspian Sea, you will find Elburz mountains. So these are the two major mountain ranges which are located in Iran. The south western side, or the from northwest to southeast, it is Zagros, and in the northern boundary here it is Elburz mountain. Further, there are two important major deserts which lie in Iran, that is Dast-e-Lut desert and Dast-e-Kavir desert, which lie entirely within Iran and are major desert of the world, Dast-e-Lut and Dast-e-Kavir. The last news article of today's session is based on the Salar de Pajonales. I hope I am pronunciating it correctly. Why it is in news? From the perspective of science and technology, it is important because these geographical feature, that is nothing but name of a salt plain, we will cover that. It resembles the environment of Mars, and scientists are very excited to read about Salar de Pajonales so that they can unravel the history of Mars also. How? We will look into that. First thing, it lies in the Atacama Desert of Chile. It is extremely dry place, freezing temperatures are there, and heavily exposed to the ultraviolet radiation. And it is near perfect analog of Martian environment condition. So here you can see the satellite image of the Salar de Pajonales, and this is near perfect replica of the Martian atmosphere or environment. Why? It is having rocks created by gypsum. Now gypsum has certain properties. What is property? What are those properties? These are hydrated calcium sulfate mineral. Okay, and these are found on Earth and Mars. Now the property is they are translucent. So for incoming solar radiation, UV radiation, they block harmful UV radiation, but they allow some amount of solar radiation to penetrate. So let's say this is the rock. So to some depth, solar radiation penetrates, but harmful UV radiation doesn't penetrate. Plus, it also traps some amount of moisture. Now what it is doing? Sunlight is present, moisture is present. Now this becomes a very good breeding ground for the microbial activity, mainly the cyanobacteria, okay, and algae. Now these microbial activity, they create a type of rock made of gypsum we know as stromatolites. Generally, stromatolites, here you can see they have a shape of, sometimes they have plane shape, sometimes hummock-like shape, sometimes dome-like shape they will have. This is nothing but a rock created by the microbial action, mainly algae and the cyanobacteria. So this is thin layered rock. So you will find a dark layer, a light layer, a dark layer, a light layer. So layered rock structure will be there. And as I told you, the gypsum has this character: to some depth sunlight penetrates. So here you will find microbial activity. But at the deeper depth, you will find fossil remain. And why it is important? They are considered as window to the past, because they have remnants of the period when earth was created, when earth had primordial atmosphere, when earth atmosphere was not having oxygen but was filled with the greenhouse gases. So their study gives very good idea what happened then, what happened there, what kind of microbial activity started, how it is started. So they are termed as the window for historical past of the earth. Now, as I told you, living microbes you will find just millimeter beneath the surface, because sunlight is penetrating, moisture is there. But fossils and chemical signatures of ancient rocks are preserved in the bottom layer. So this becomes very important, because living microbes you will find, fossilized remain you will find. Now how it is important? Because this finding in the Atacama desert, it resembles the environment of Mars. Mars has such gypsum rocks of stromatolites. So scientists believe that if in such a harsh desert, dry, freezing atmosphere, microbial activity and the past remnants have been preserved. Maybe microbial activity we won't find, but stromatolites will be having the past activities, the traces or remnants of the past activities, which can tell about the history of Mars. And that is why scientists are very excited and are reading this area or doing research in this area. For your perspective, the important points are the location of Salar de Pajonales and the significance that it resembles or it is perfect analogous to the Martian environment, where the historical evolution of Mars can be traced. That's all for today's session. Stay tuned for more such updates. Thank you.